American Printing House for the Blind Sensory Learning Kit Routines. Brandon's Make Food Routine, APH. Learning to imitate, exploration zone, and to demonstrate understanding of a means-ends relationship between two objects, function zone. Assessment, present level of performance, exploration zone. Brandon's team observes a regularly occurring activity to establish his present level of performance. Brandon sings to himself while he grasps a measuring cup, one of his favorite objects in his adapted exploration activity area. Instruction: Make food routine. Elaine, Brandon's teacher, embeds function zone goals in the steps of his Make food routine. Elaine presents the measuring cup that Brandon explored in his activity area. Elaine names the object as he touches it.
Measuring cup.
He uses coordinated looking and touching to recognize the object in a new context. She places the food container on Brandon's tray and briefly models scooping. She names the object as he touches it. Brandon uses vision and touch to explore sensory components of his spoon. Elaine scoops the food slowly to allow Brandon time to process. Brandon imitates Elaine's actions as she visually models scooping food into the measuring cup. Next, Elaine introduces the blender carafe for the first time. Brandon looks at it but does not touch. She taps on it, and he begins manual exploration of the blender carafe. Elaine visually models pouring the contents of the measuring cup into the blender carafe. Elaine introduces the blender lid. She provides plenty of time for coordinated looking and touching. Brandon imitates Elaine's action as she visually models putting the lid on the top of the carafe. Brandon watches as Elaine puts the carafe on the base, which is plugged into a power select. He then watches as Elaine places a red pressure switch on the tray next to the blender. Elaine allows time for Brandon to move his hand to the switch. He presses the switch to activate the blender. He shifts his gaze from blender to switch to observe the movement of his food. He repeats the action. Elaine removes the switch and blender base and puts a plate on Brandon's tray. Brandon watches Elaine scoop food from the carafe onto his plate. When Elaine presents his spoon, Brandon grasps it. Elaine uses hand-under-hand support to help him take 2 small tastes of his food. Brandon trusts that Elaine will allow him to control the pacing and duration of his eating experience. Acknowledgements. Brandon. Elaine Osborne, active learning classroom teacher. Videography by Derek Jackson. Special thanks to Sherry Pollen and Frisco Independent School District, Texas. Millie Smith, TVI consultant. Stacy Chambers, TVI consultant. APH staff. Tristan Pierce, product manager. Emily Grimani, Product Specialist. Anthony Jones, Graphic Design Manager. Matt Pope, Graphic Designer. Ricky Irvine and Jill Fox, narrators. The end.